anyone who is watching this video. This is another microbiology recording. I'm picking a subject that I find my students struggle with in order to understand how to prepare simple disinfectants. Because in microbiology, of course, we're dealing with organisms that are infectious. That is why we're studying microbiology. We want to know how they cause disease. We want to know how to control them from causing further disease or to kill them if they're in our immediate surroundings. In the last few years, we've been talking about protection from COVID, and some of the things they tell us to do are, in addition to wearing masks to prevent us from spreading whatever we're breathing out. They're encouraging us to wash our hands carefully, to disinfect surfaces. Now, of course, there are the commercial products that are out there being sold, like sanitizers and wipes. But we have to remember those commercial products contain solutions of what we call disinfectants, solutions that disinfect. In other words, they remove or kill the organisms that cause infection. So, what I want to do here is to walk you through step by step, very simply, how you can prepare those disinfectants. And they can be as complicated as some very complex chemical products, or as simple as bleach or ethanol. Ethanol, another name for ethanol is just everyday alcohol. And then another very common ingredient, a disinfectant, is isopropanol. You can get this very easily from any place like Walmart. However, you can also save yourself some money by making them yourself. Just especially bleach. We all use bleach when we're doing our laundry. Now, the bleach that you use in your laundry is concentrated. And if you were to take a sniff of that bleach, you can see how strong it is. And in fact, some people really can be impacted by the fumes from that concentrated bleach. Now, in order to prepare a disinfectant from bleach, you don't need the concentrated solution that you buy from Walmart. You have to dilute it out to a certain concentration that has been studied and found to be effective enough to kill the organisms, but it won't affect you, because some people do get respiratory problems by breathing in that concentrated Clorox. So I'm going to discuss two common disinfectants, and I'm going to discuss how we prepare them at a concentration that is going to be strong enough to kill the organisms, the infectious organisms, but it will not affect us directly by breathing it in. Those two disinfectants that I'm going to discuss are bleach at a 10% concentration and ethanol or alcohol at a 70% concentration. And those are the concentrations at which they're commonly used in a clinical lab. If you're taking microbiology on a campus somewhere, you probably have to use one of those disinfectants every time you enter the lab to kill off whatever organisms might be lying around on your bench. And at the end, of course, of your lab, you have to disinfect again in case if you're working with an infectious organism, you want to make sure you leave your bench free of any infectious agent. But again, in the clinical labs, as well as, if you're a nursing student on the floor, you probably will be doing a lot of disinfecting. And those are the two common concentrations and two common disinfectants that will be used. Now, students always struggle to figure out, how do I prepare 10% bleach? First of all, you have to understand, what does 10% bleach mean? Anytime you hear the word percent, it means per 100 parts, okay? So if I tell you you need to make 10% bleach, I'm asking you that for every 100 parts of total liquid or bleach, you have to have 10 parts made of the concentrated bleach that you bought from the store, and then you dilute it down with water to make the total of 100 parts. Again, just very simple terms, it means if you're to make 10% bleach, it means that for every 100 milliliters of total fluid, out of that 100 milliliters, 10 milliliters is going to be the concentrated bleach. So it means that when you're making it in the lab, you're going to mix 10 milliliters of concentrated bleach that you bought from Walmart and add 90 milliliters of water to make a total volume of 100 milliliters. Okay. Now, the trick comes when if your instructor asks you, instead of asking you to make 100 milliliters of 10% bleach, if they tell you, I only need 50 milliliters of that bleach, but it still has to be the same concentration, 10%. So all you have to do is prorate it. Really, if you know what prorate means, it means that if 100 milliliters of 10% bleach is going to require 10 mLs of concentrated bleach, it means that 50 milliliters, which is half of 100, is going to need half of that 10 mLs. In other words, the 50 is going to require 5 mLs of bleach. I have a little formula that I give to my students to use, and that formula would be for whatever volume that you are asked to make the 10% bleach. You first of all have to put 10 is to 100, and then multiply. In other words, 10 over 100 times whatever volume you are asked to make, and that gives you the amount of concentrated bleach that you're going to need for that volume that you are asking to make. So, for example, your instructor asks you to make 25 milliliters of the of the 10% bleach. So, in other words, instead of making 100 mLs of 10%, which would be 10 plus 90, they want you to make only 25 mLs, but the concentration has to be the same, 10%. So all you have to do is say 25 divide by 100, which is a quarter of that. And in other words, the ratio is going to be a quarter of the 100. 25 divided by 100 times the 10% concentration, which is what you want. And the answer you'd get is 2.5 mLs of the concentrated bleach. Simple. So in other words, in this case, you would add 2.5 mLs or 2.5 milliliters of the concentrated bleach you got from Walmart, and you add that to a beaker or a cylinder, and bring the volume up to a total of 25. Or to put it another way, you'd add 2.5 milliliters of concentrated bleach plus 22.5 milliliters of water. 22.5 plus 2.5 is going to be 25. Okay, I hope that makes it clear. So now, okay, that is bleach. And this is the way you would make it if you were using it at home. Rather than buying those expensive disinfectants, you can just, make, simple 10% bleach from Walmart and use it around your house. I do that in my own house. Now, so similarly, if you were to use the 70% ethanol, again, you'd follow the same procedure. The only difference is that instead of you preparing 10%, in this case, you're preparing 70%, because the studies have shown that for ethanol, it's most effective if you use 70%. And the concentration is there to kill the organisms or inactivate them. Basically, these disinfectants, what they're doing to the organism is they're killing the organism. They're disrupting the cell of the microbe cell. In other words, they disrupt the cell wall, and that is how they kill the organism. That's all it is. So it has been found that for ethanol, you really need 70% ethanol. And that simply means, just like with our bleach, it means that for every 100 parts of total volume of ethanol disinfectant, you would need to add 70 milliliters of pure concentrated ethanol. And then you add water, which would be 30 mLs, to make a total of 100. Similarly, if you were to, if you needed to make 25 milliliters of 70% ethanol, you would use the same formula. But in this case, you'd put 25 milliliters, which is what you want to make total volume, divide by 100 times 70%. And that would give you the actual volume of concentrated ethanol that you'd need. All right. I hope that helps you guys, figure out how to prepare those solutions, because I can guarantee you, if you're taking a microbiology class, your instructor is at some point going to expect you to show how you prepare those disinfectants. They're used all the time in the lab, and they are necessary, and you need to know how to prepare them correctly. Because if you were asked to prepare 10% bleach and you didn't calculate your volumes correctly, and instead of making 10% bleach, you ended up making 1% bleach, that would not kill the organisms. It would not do the job it's supposed to do, which is to disinfect your surfaces. So it would be too dilute. You want to make sure the concentration that you prepare is correct, so that it effectively disinfects the surfaces that you are working with. Okay, I hope this helps you guys. If you have any questions on this subject or any future subject in my future videos, I have an email that I want to give out to students. I don't know if you can see it over here. It would be WANKOKOS, S as in Sarah, the number 52 at gmail.com. That would be the email that you'd send me any questions you have on this subject or any other subject, microbiology, or even human anatomy and physiology, because I teach that too. But again, the email, if you have a question on this subject, or if you want me to go and explain it a little further, the email to send it to is WANKOKOS as in Sarah, the number 52 at gmail.com. Email me your questions on this and any other subject, and I'll be more than happy to walk you through one more time or clarify whatever you're having problems with.